Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast covers everything tech. The hottest mobile phones, tablets, games. We review it, rate it, test it. Whether you're Microsoft or Apple, Android or iPhone, we'll give it to you again. Black and white. The Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast.
Hello everybody, this is Jay, back for another episode of the GSMC Technology Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. So we got some pretty cool little topics to talk about this episode, so let's just jump right in. So first of all, I'm going to talk about a new feature Facebook Messenger has talked about. I've talked about Facebook Messenger on here in the past, and some Facebook news in the past because I use Facebook. I've had Facebook for years and years and years now, and I think it's a good website. I think it's really cool. So what I'm going to be talking about with this particular little topic is Facebook Messenger is now internally testing simultaneous co-viewing of videos. That means you and your favorite people could watch a synchronized video over group chat on your respective devices, like phones, laptops, tablets, while discussing or joking about it. This watch videos together feature could make you spend more time on Facebook Messenger while creating shared experiences that are more meaningful and positive for well-being than passively zombie viewing videos solo. This new approach to Facebook's Watch Party feature might feel more natural as part of messaging than through a feed, groups, or events post. A Facebook spokesperson has confirmed that this is an internal test, and it doesn't have any more to share right now. But other features originally discovered in Messenger's code, like contact syncing with Instagram, have eventually received official launches. A fascinating question this co-viewing feature brings up is where users will find these videos to watch. It might just let you punch in a URL from Facebook or share a video from there to Messenger. This app could put a new video browsing option into the Messenger Composer or Discover tab. Or, if it really wanted to get serious about chat-based co-viewing, Facebook could allow the feature to work with video partners, ideally like YouTube. Co-viewing of videos could also introduce a new revenue opportunity for Messenger. It might suggest sponsored videos, such as recent movie trailers. Or it could simply serve video ads between a queue of videos lined up for co-viewing. Facebook has recently been putting more pressure on its subsidiaries like Messenger and Instagram to monetize as newsfeed ad revenue growth slows due to plateauing user growth and limited news feed ad space. Other apps like YouTube's Uptime, which is no longer around, and Facebook's first president, Sean Parker's Airtime, which never took off, they have tried and failed to make co-watching a popular habit. The problem is that coordinating these synced up experiences with friends can be troublesome. By baking simultaneous video viewing directing into Messenger, Facebook could make it as seamless as sharing a link. So, I'll admit, I watch many a video on YouTube. I stumble upon many a video on YouTube. I've watched some of those. I used to watch some of the Epic Rap Battles of History on there. Drop the Mic. I've watched many episodes on there. I've stumbled upon some pretty funny college humor videos on there. And I'll admit, some of those videos on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Facebook, forgive me, aren't always easy to find again, and they're not always that easy to share. It's just not. Now, if I find a video on YouTube, yeah, I can share it on my page on Facebook with pretty much, very simple simplicity. So, this sounds like an interesting feature. It does. Say if I wanted to, if I had a friend on Messenger, like, hey, look at this cool video I found, and, I live here and they live, let's say, I don't know, in another state. Just example, by the way. You could both watch that video together, laugh at it together, comment on it together, and probably share it to other friends, in your Messenger. So, yeah, that sounds interesting in theory. It does. It sounds like an interesting direction for Facebook to go. As I've seen lately, Facebook is trying to go in some interesting new directions to, keep their company relevant, keep their company going. But it also was kind of interesting where it said where, previous attempts at this have been made and they either never took off or they shut down. So that does give me that does give a bit of an ominous feeling of is this going to work the way I think it's going to? I don't know. That's the truth. I'm like, I don't know if it's going to work the way they hope it will. If it's going to be as user-friendly as they hope, as simple as they hope, I don't know. This is the first thing in a while where I'm like, you know what? This is a really cool idea. This is a really cool concept, a pretty clever concept there. But I don't know if this is something that, I don't know. I just don't see what, you should do this. This must be done. This is going to be awesome. I just don't know. Because, if I want to share a video right now, I can just put it on my wall, right? That's what I can do. Or I can put it on a group's wall if I happen to be a member of a different group, right? That's how you can share a video. And it's pretty simplistic. Literally a child could probably do it, right? Just the truth. So yeah, making this, it sounds really cool to me on paper, in theory, but I don't really see, but why would you actually want to do this, though? I don't know. If I want to share a video with someone or watch a video with someone, usually they have to be with me, and, that's just how it goes. It's just the way it is. So maybe they hope that with this, they don't have to be with you at all. You can, be in different houses or different places or, in different states or counties or cities and watch it like you were both in the room together, maybe? I don't know. I'm just not sure about this one. I on one part, I'm really excited because, hey, you get to watch videos through Messenger. That's kind of cool. Okay, that's kind of cool. But on the other hand, I'm like, but I don't know. Does it really need to be done that way? Is it really going to be as simple or as great or as awesome as they think it's going to be? And not only that, but are, users going to go ecstatic for it? Are going to are they really going to what's what I'm looking for? Are they really going to be are they going to really go, hey, this is really great and awesome and kind of embrace it? That's the word. Are they going to embrace this? I don't know. Because I've said before, there's different, groups of users. There are young users, there are, in between, middle-aged users or users in their 30s and 40s, users in their teens and 20s. And then there's older users, people who, older people with profiles who, I don't know if they're going to be excited for new technologies. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see, I guess, is what's really going to go down with this thing. We'll see how, this is going to go, or even if it's going to really get off the ground. So if they're just doing internal testing, that means there isn't even beta testing yet, I don't think. So, I don't know. I would suggest if Facebook is going to do this, especially the fact that it's kind of failed 2 times in the past, once with them and once with another company, one of their competitors they want to work with on this, really fine-tune this, really test this, make sure it's got as few bugs as possible. No bugs would be ideal, but as few bugs as possible. And just really make sure, hey, is this going to be good? Is this going to be great? Are people going to really embrace it and enjoy it and use it as we hope they're going to? Because if you find it anywhere along the process they're not, I'd say just let it go. Just be like, you know what? It was a good idea in theory, but it's not going to go the way we think it's going to go, and it's probably going to just, people are going to hate it over embracing it, and they're going to want to avoid it rather than actually trying to use it. That's just my suggestion. So we're going to take ourselves our first short little break right now. We'll be back in a moment with more technology news.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast, dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hello there, everybody. This is Jay. I'm back with more technology news. So, this is an interesting one that stood out to me, and I've talked many video games in the past. I'm very big on Nintendo. I do enjoy a number of PlayStation games, but I haven't really ever talked too kindly about Xbox. I just haven't. At E3 this last year, I tried to use the Xbox controller. It's not bad, but my God, is it a learning curve? It really, really is a learning curve. I will admit, I went to the Xbox press conference. I was pretty impressed. I enjoyed it. I was like, man, this is pretty freaking awesome. I'll give them that. So they've got a lot of really cool games coming out, a lot of really cool features coming out. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff. But I've just never been, yay, Xbox, pro Xbox, Xbox is awesome, play Xbox now. It hasn't been me. Now, there's been a big reason for this. There's been a really big reason for this, and that's the price tag. Yeah, like the Xbox One, I think, is like $500 freaking dollars. That's a lot of money for a video game system. I get it. It can be like a computer. It's got a lot of memory. I get that. Fine. But I can get a Nintendo Switch for what? $299. I can get a PS4 for what? Maybe $300? Maybe $354. That's still cheaper than $500 something dollars. Even the PS4 Pro, I think, is like maybe $4 something. I think around $3 or $4 something. And the Xbox One X is like $500-$600. So that's a lot of money for a video game system. Let's put it that way. It really is. It's a lot of freaking money. And Xbox has had some weird ideas in the past. Like they talked about, I think, with either their Xbox One or something around either Xbox One or maybe even the 360. There was around there some point where they thought, you know what, we're going to make it where people can't, play pre-played games on our system anymore. Now, of course, fans are not happy. They're like, what the heck? Like, why would you do that? Why? That makes no sense. Now, of course, the uproar and the, so they went, okay, never mind. Our bad. We're not going to do that. Fine. So, I've never been like, hooray for Xbox. Xbox is awesome. Microsoft, Xbox, you must play. That's just not who I am. But anyways, on that note, I decided to bring you some Xbox One news anyway. And it's kind of some interesting news. Hence why I brought it. So, according to a new report, Microsoft has been working on a new console in the Xbox One family. This cheaper model could play regular Xbox One games, but there would be no Blu-ray drive. This move does lower the price of the entry-level Xbox One. An Xbox One S officially starts at about $299. But you can currently find it for around $250 on Amazon. Now, this disc-less Xbox One could start at around $199. If you already have an Xbox One and physical games, you could imagine going to an official retailer to trade your discs for a digital download code. Now let's hope that this new Xbox comes with a big hard drive for those who do have a slow internet connection. Back when Microsoft first unveiled the Xbox One in 2013, that's right, it's been like 5 years since the system has been out. It's been out that long now. The company wanted to make a big push toward digital games. The original plan was that you would associate your physical games with your Xbox account. After that, you could play the game even without inserting the disc. Microsoft had also planned a way to lend a digital game to a friend for 30 days. Now, of course, after some backlash, Microsoft gave up on this plan and switched back to a more traditional system. But like I said, it's been 5 years. Okay, digital games are more popular than ever, and internet connections are faster than ever, which I admit, both of those things are true. I can't say I've played a lot of digital games, but I have gotten some digital review codes, and it's kind of simpler. It takes up less space, than it does if I had a physical game, right? And it's usually a bit cheaper sometimes too. So Microsoft also thinks the future of games is based on subscriptions. With the Xbox Game Pass, you can access dozens of games for like $10 per month. You can also subscribe to the EA Access on the Xbox One. Eventually, you could imagine replacing the Xbox altogether with a subscription for a streaming service, but of course, we're not there yet. So, Microsoft is also working on an updated One S that could be a bit cheaper. This one would have a traditional disk drive. So, after reading this article, it's really kind of strange to me and really brought a really, kind of interesting question to my mind is, so we have had, for at least a year, maybe almost 2 years? I want to say at least a year, the Nintendo Switch, right? It's out, it's affordable, it's kind of almost like a handheld console in a way, right? You can either have it, attached to the little dock and play it on your TV, or you can carry it with you for however much battery life everywhere you go and play your games wherever you go, right? You can do this, right, you can do that. And as far as I know, PlayStation and Xbox don't have something like this. They're not even close. PlayStation has their PS Vita, which I'm hearing isn't that great, but it's there. It's a handheld. And Xbox has never done a handheld at all. So if the Xbox One has been out for 5 years now, and the PlayStation 4 has been around for, I want to say, a couple years at least, too, why aren't you just coming out with new systems? I don't understand. I mean, because you can do new versions like, hey, it's got more memory, it's slimmer, it's got, this or that. You can do that, but there's a point where it's like, who cares? I mean, like, why should I pay more money for just an upgraded system? Why should I do that? Just make a new system. So I don't really understand why, okay, you're doing a diskless system, okay, but instead of doing a diskless system, why not just do like an Xbox 2 or whatever you're going to call your next system and just make that diskless? Why not just do that? That makes more sense to me. It makes more sense to me, hey, you know what? Rather than just making an Xbox One that doesn't have a disk drive so just to do all digital games, why not just make your new system that way? Why not? I don't understand. And if you want to compete with Nintendo, which I'd imagine you and PlayStation probably want to, maybe find some way where, hey, you know what, you can have it in some dock at home, or it can be attached to something at home, but at the same time, you can also now, you can also go ahead and, carry it with you in some way. Like either it attaches to, like something like that, because that's what Nintendo has, right? So if you want to stay in the market, shouldn't you do something like that? So I don't know. This isn't a bad article. This is actually kind of an interesting article. But at the same time, I'm like, but it doesn't really make sense you're doing this, Xbox, when you could just instead come out with your new system, which you should in the next year or two, suggestion, and just have that be diskless, rather than making an Xbox One that may be cheaper, but it's still the same system. Okay, it is. You can say, okay, well, internet speeds are faster and all that stuff. Okay, fine, true. but why should I spend money for a diskless version of the same system when instead you just come out with a new system that, hey, it's got like, it's got a faster everything, stronger everything, more memory, more hard drive space, all that, but on a new system. So I don't know. This is kind of interesting. I like the price tag. That's very affordable, but it just doesn't make sense to that to a new system. Really, it just doesn't to me anyway. So anyways, we're going to take another short break and we'll be back in a moment with more technology news.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello there, everybody. This is Jay, back for more technology news. So, there's a last bit of news this week that broke out that I think was really a shock. I don't know if this was a shock for other people who have gone to E3 in the past, but it was definitely a shock to me. And not only that, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It really doesn't. Now, for those that don't know, E3 is a worldwide video game convention, pretty much. It's in LA every year, usually around June. It's worldwide, it's huge. All the game companies are there, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Activision, Square Enix, Bethesda, Ubisoft. All the big companies are there. They're all pushing their new games, their new games, updated versions of games. They're all there, and the last few years they've let in public, but it's only been a handful of public. It's still a lot of press from all over the world. We've got Bandai Namco there. We have Konami there. There's a huge amount of gaming companies at this thing, and there's a lot to see and do. There's a lot of demos to play. There's a lot of, new things to try out. There's a lot of VR things to try out. There's just a whole lot to do. It's usually during the week. It's about, Tuesday through Thursday, usually. There's sometimes stuff to do before that, maybe press conferences or things like that. But it's a very, very big convention. The last two years I've gone, technically 3 years now, because I went in 16, 17, and 18. I've gotten to play a lot of demos of a lot of games, many games I've never heard of or haven't really tried before, but I've gotten to do and try a lot of things. Sometimes they have some people walking around in cosplay for some characters like Lara Croft or Kratos or things like that. There's a lot of really cool little setups for a lot of different things. They'll give you free t-shirts and hats and posters and flash drives and things like that. Just you get a lot of really cool swag, a lot of free stuff. You get to connect with a lot of gamers. And it's always been really, really cool. There's always been so much to see and do and so little time to do it all. But there's been a lot of really, really cool stuff. Every year I've gone has been better than the year before. And it's a really fun convention. If you're a gamer, I would suggest go. You will have an absolute blast. And it's just a really, really fun experience. It really is. So, some really weird news broke out this week that I kind of wish was a joke. It's not, but I kind of wish it was. On like a sci-fi episode I did, I thought Detective Pikachu must be a joke. I wish this was a joke or a marketing ploy or publicity stunt, but I sadly don't think it is. So the news that broke out is that PlayStation announced they're not going to be at E3 in 2019. When I heard that, I was like, wait, what? Really? Seriously? And for me, that's just weird because I'm like, you're always there, though. That'd be like Nintendo saying they're not going to be there. Or Xbox saying they're not going to be there. It's like, you guys are major companies. You're major consoles. You have, a huge amount of games come out every year. So it's really weird. It's like, wait, what? Why? How? Huh? I don't really understand. I'm just like, when I heard this, I was like, man, that's a real bummer. Because, PlayStation's been pretty nice to me in the past. I've gotten to, they always have really cool setups. They have a bunch of stations for a bunch of games. And I got to go last year to their after party, which was really fun. And so it's just kind of weird to me. I'm like, man, why though? Like, and there wasn't really a big reason why they said they weren't going to be there. They just said, we're not going to be attending next year. We're not going to be there in 2019. That's all they really said. There's speculation to why, like maybe they're trying to do their own thing now. Like I guess some of the other companies have been doing somewhat to an extent, like on a certain scale, or maybe they're like getting ready to unveil later in the year or next year their PlayStation 5 finally. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there isn't much for them to unveil. Like I think there's like Last of Us 2 and like a few other games, but I don't know. Overall, this doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why would you do that? Because not only do a lot of people get to try out your games and, and your new stuff and things like that, but, you always bring your A game. I mean, you do a great job. I can't think of one year where I'm like, man, PlayStation really messed up this year. I mean, yeah, their app isn't always working. There's bugs with that. But they're accommodating with that, too. If you want to go into one of the theaters and see a demo of a game, they don't go, I'm sorry, you can't go in because if you're not on the list with the app. No, they're accommodating. They go, oh, that's okay. We'll get you in. Don't worry. You'll get to see it. I can't think of a really bad experience for at E3 for PlayStation. I just can't think of one. I really can't. So when I heard this news, I was like, man, that is a real bummer. It's going to be like a chunk of E3 is just going to be missing, That's just what it's going to be like. Like, an important part of E3, is not going to be there. There's going to be maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like there's going to be an emptiness there. It's like, hey, where this company should be, they're just not there. They're not there with their, setups and their demos and their cool, logos and theater and, their games and their game stations. None of that's going to be there. So this is kind of really sad news for me. I'm just like, man, because I plan on going this next year. Absolutely. This isn't going to affect me going. But it's just kind of like, man, why did they have to do that? I mean, why would they make such a decision like this? It seems really kind of to me like rash and not really like, something they should do. I think they should think this through. Like, hey, maybe like, take a breather. Think like, hey, where's this coming from? Why are you at this place? I mean, have you had bad experiences at E3 maybe in the past? Is there something like maybe you should talk about with the company? Like, hey, can we have this or that instead? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And again, I don't think they've done this before. I don't believe. I don't believe they've had years before like, hey, we're not going to be there that year. I think this is the first time they've done this, to my knowledge. Mind you, I've only been going for 3 years, but I don't think this has happened before. So it's really weird news. It's kind of sad news. It's kind of like, man, that's a bummer. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they would just think this through, and go, hey, never mind, we'll be there after all. I think that'd be a good idea, really, personally. And I think this next year, even though I'm sure E3 will still be fun like it has been in previous years for me, a part of E3 is going to be missing, a part of the experience. I mean, they'll still have, to my knowledge, there will still be games that you can probably try on a PlayStation 4, just the company itself won't be there. So like Activision and Square Enix and, Bandai Namco and some of those, I'd imagine they'd still have PlayStation 4 demos at their stations, I would think. I really don't know, but I would think. Heck, I would hope. But yeah, this is kind of bummer news. This really is. I'm kind of saddened by this news. I'm like, man, I wish they would, have a change of tune, or that, they'd, decide, yeah, we'll be there after all, but only like 1 or 2 days. I kind of wish that happened. So, other than that, that is the end of this episode. I hope you got to learn some really cool stuff and had a lot of fun, as much fun as I did bringing it to you. But don't worry, we'll be back real soon with more technology news.